It's been a long time since I've actually uploaded a YouTube video. I know I uploaded one recently, which was Minecraft Epic Speed Run, but it's been a while since I've actually done like a video, an actual like video other than like a shit post. But so in this case, I wanted to do a tier list as I've always done in the past. And this one's gonna be pretty unique because it's actually for a band I listen to called Opeth, which is a progressive metal band. They're in their early days they were a fusion of death metal, folk, and black metal, and later on they just kind of did like their own thing, like I guess like inspired by bands like say King Crimson and stuff. But I'm gonna for this tier list, I'm gonna be going over every single studio album that has been released by them, all 13 of them, starting from Orchid, then Morning Rise, then My Arms Your Hears, then uh, Still Life, Blackwater Park, Deliverance and Damnation, Ghost Reveries, Watershed, Heritage, Pale Communion, Sorceress, and Incauda Venenum. I'm pretty sure I pronounced the last one wrong because that's in Latin, but yeah, we're gonna be ranking these, so this is gonna be fun.
Also, just one more thing here. If you guys disagree with me and say how I'm wrong and stuff, grow a fucking pair. Seriously, you're more mature than that. As you can see here, we have the tier list of Opeth studio albums, which is already seen here. All these different ones: Blackwater Park, Damnation, Ghost Reveries, Deliverance, Heritage, Watershed, My Arms Your Hears, Morning Rise, Orchid, Still Life, Pale Communion, Sorceress, and Incauda Venenum. And of course, as usual, we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier, which is the bottom of the barrel, complete and utter fucking shit. So, yeah, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's go start on D tier. I already know which one I'm gonna put into D tier, and it's Sorceress. Sorceress does have its moments, like say the intro to the album called Persephone. I really like that one. I think even Michael Ockerfeldt, or one of the members of the band, has actually described it as having an Ennio Morricone feeling, something similar to the movies like Good, Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool vibe. And I mean, there are some other cool songs like Chrysalis on there, and I guess the self-titled, which is just called Sorceress. But other than that, I don't really find anything really that unique about the album. It's just not really. It's just kind of not. It's just not very good. I don't know. It's not good, but it's not terrible. So, but even then, it's still the worst Opeth album in my opinion. And that's all I have to say for Sorceress. Um, then we have. Let's see. So what else do I put into D tier? I think I'll put Pale Communion in maybe actually no. Oh, I really gotta think about this too. Um I wanna say Pale Communion. Because I mean because I think there's really only one song on there I actually remember kinda liking, which I believe is called Cusp of Eternity, but that's really about it. Also the same idea with Opeth, with Opeth's Sorceress. Pretty boring, and it's not good, but it's not great. And I should also mention too, but that even though that most of the songs on Sorceress are forgettable, there are like probably more than one song I actually like on there. Whereas with Pale Communion, there's only like really one song I remember off the top of my head. Which now I think of, I probably should have said that was the worst one, but we'll just keep going. Fuck it. um, let's see. Next, I think I'll give. I think we're done with D tier. Uh, I think C tier. I'm gonna put Heritage in C tier. C tier is actually kind of a cool one. I don't remember all the songs off the top of my head, but I actually remember enjoying the album quite a bit. The only one I remember not liking at all was Slither. I don't know why. I didn't. It just didn't click with me. Like now that I think of it, I do remember other songs like Devil's Orchard, for instance. Devil's Orchard is great. The entire album does have like a very jazzy feeling to it, I guess you could say. Really, really cool. If you're into that type of stuff like I am, it's for the most part, check that album out. It's pretty good. I think I will put I think I'll put. I don't know. I don't know at this point. Because now when you have like most of these albums here are the death metal era, and then In Code of Venom is like the prog is them nowadays. I want to put Still Life in C tier. Still Life is not a bad album. I like tracks like Moonlapse Vertigo and The More. But overall, I just kind of find like when you go from My Arms Your Here's to this, I feel like the sound on that is a little more forgettable. It's still good, don't get me wrong. It's a great album. Like I'd listen to it again if I really wanted to. But when you compare it to their other stuff, I'm not a fan. I don't know what it is. I'm just not much of a fan. Uh Yeah, that's all I have to say about Still Life. Anything else for C tier? No, I think we're good on that one. Let's move on to B tier. I think I will put Orchid on there. Now, Orchid actually, if this was like months ago, because I'm actually a relatively new Opeth fan. I've been a fan for a year now. I would have put Orchid at S tier. That used to be my favorite album, but the more I've listened to it, it's not bad. It has some good tracks on there, like In the Mist You Was Standing, for instance, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't as it's not as good because of the fact that this was when the band was still trying to find their sound, you know? Like I don't know. It's which is not always a bad thing. Like hell, like with like bands in general. Hell, my favorite Pink Floyd album is their first one, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I fucking love that album. But I feel like with Opeth, they were still just trying to like find their place and everything, and plus that actually was the first like full album I listened to from them, and trust me, you do not want to start on this album if you're not into like super long tracks, which I usually am, but I remember like every time I would listen to it, it would always be at the worst. I would not be in like the best mood possible for it. Like it's still good, but not a good album to start on in my opinion. uh Which actually reminds me, speaking of long tracks, Morning Rise. Morning Rise, I actually is their second album. Obviously the album that came after Orchid, which is their first one. But I actually think that Morning Rise is a little better. Like we had songs like To Bid You Farewell, for instance. I like the production value. I like the vocals. I like it all. I like it because of the fact that it has a black metal feel to it. It's not like super. It's not like say like the album Transylvanian Hunger. It's not to that level of production value, but it's enough for me to be like, okay, it's black metal, but I can actually at least like tolerate it for the most part because as much as I love black metal, I don't like to listen to a lot of it because most of the time the production sucks. But yeah, Morning Rise is a good one to listen to. I would definitely listen to that if you guys have the chance. But the problem is that one also has a lot of songs. This album has their longest track that's at 20 minutes long. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think I will look it up later probably. I should know this because I'm really into this stuff. But like, damn, it's a good one to listen to. What else? I think I'll put no, not Watershed. I think I'll just move on to A tier. I think first one I will put will be Incauda Venenum. Incauda Venenum was actually the first Opeth album I listened to. Again, as I mentioned, I've only been a fan for a year now. I listened to this album like I think about a month after it came out, it came out in September, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but I remember at first like it was a really good, interesting sound. Like it was a very interesting prog sound, and when you listen to their other stuff and you compare it to this has to probably be like one of their weirdest albums, I would say. Like I don't remember all the track names though because there are actually two versions of it. There's the English version and the Swedish version, and I listened to the Swedish version a lot more. Well, actually, I listened to that one really only. I've listened to the English version, but the Swedish version is better by a long shot. And yeah, it's a good album to listen to, and actually a really good starter. It's really weird, but it's oddly accessible. We have songs like Dignity, Heart and Hand, uh, Mo- Garden of Moonly Delights, I believe it's called. Uh, and then Alting tar slut, or all things must pass or something. There are a lot of good tracks on there. Seriously, I would 100% recommend this. It's not there are some it does have its moments where like it doesn't really go super proggy where it's like they could where it's like parts they could have made it proggy but it isn't, but it's still a good album nonetheless. Okay. Um but yeah, really also just at this point, I think this is kind of where I start to draw more hate in for the fan base. I think I'm gonna put Ghost Reveries at A as well. Ghost Reveries is a great one too. That was like the first album that they did where they incorporated Mellotron into metal music. And even though they incorporated it in Damnation, Damnation was not a metal album by the way, which was fine. But then once they released Ghost Reveries, that was when they went really into it. It was like when I heard that Mellotron on the song Ghost of Perdition, I was like, "What the fuck is this? This actually works." Because when you listen to other bands like say the Beatles, King Crimson, tons of bands like a lot of bands that use Mellotron, and I mean people that used it like David Bowie, you wouldn't expect it to work in a metal setting. Like that's big. That's really freaking big. Like we have tracks like Ghost of Perdition, as I mentioned, Baying of the Hounds. So many good ones. I swear, so many freaking good ones. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that album. I think next I will put Deliverance on A. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm sorry, guys. Actually, I'll put Deliverance and Damnation. Actually, no. How about this? I'll take those out. Oh, I hope I didn't mess it up. No, I didn't. Thank you. I think I'll put. Yeah, this is gonna garner a lot of hate. Blackwater Park is going into A. I'm sorry, as much as I love Blackwater Park, it's not my favorite album. I'm so sorry. It's just it never like it's a great album, but it's not enough for me to be really into it. Like we have good songs like Leper Affinity, Fun- Funeral of November, Harvest, Bleak, and then the self-titled I think this song Harvest is on there. Then Blackwater Park, the self-titled, it has a lot of good stuff going for it, but I don't know what it is. I can't really explain why. It just never clicked with me, which is a shame because I actually think that this a lot of people in the community hail this as probably their best album, really. So I don't know. I feel really bad about it, honestly. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I think, but yeah, I think well, let's see if we have anything else for A. So I think the first album I'm gonna put on here is I'm actually gonna combine this as one album: Deliverance and Damnation. Yes, they actually technically I'm putting both of these on here at the same time because they were originally going to be released as one album, and it only makes sense to rank them at the same level. Like they're both great. I actually prefer Damnation a little more, but Opeth's Deliverance is easily their heaviest album. Like it's so heavy. Listening to the self-titled track, it was like boom boom doo, 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 doo. Like that really got me going. It was like right into the action. Such a great album. And then when you go to Damnation, it's like the soft like prog rock type Mellotron heavy album. It has it's depressing as hell lyrically, but it's a stellar album. We have songs like Window Pane, In My Time of Need, Hope Leaves, To Rid the Disease. So many good ones, god damn it. It's so good. So good. But that's all I have to say about those ones. Like if anything really, if you're talking about just albums to start listening to from Opeth, listen to Damnation first. Damnation's songs are not super long. They're not that heavy. They're not really that heavy, so anyone can listen to it really. And it overall is a great album. But then at the same time though, I want to say albums like say Watershed I would also listen to first. Cuz Watershed is a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of calmness, like with the song Coil. That's like a mostly acoustic song. It's an acoustic song accompanied by Mellotron, and then there's songs like Heir Apparent and Lotus Eater, like those which get into the heavier realm, and then Porcelain Heart, which is kind of like the heart, not like, I want to say hard rock and like heavy metal type realm too, and then Hessian Peel and stuff. It's great. All of it is great, and really though, the more I think about it, I would either listen to Damnation or Watershed. I'm more leaning on Watershed because of the fact that it's a little bit of everything, so that way it allows you to determine which like type of Opeth you like, you know? Honestly, great album, but not as good as the last one here, which is my personal favorite, My Arms, Your Hears. Easily, this is a great album. We have tracks like April Ethereal, When, Madrigal. I'm gonna also include the prologue as well. uh Madrigal, the Amen Corner, Demon of the Fall, which is my personal favorite track off of it, and then Credence, and then Karma, and then Epilogue, and then the Epilogue. The Epilogue is great. It's a great guitar solo at the end. It's a great closer to the album. And you go into like, and then just songs like Demon of the Fall. All the songs sound epic, but in my opinion, Demon of the Fall sounds the most epic. Like when you listen to it, it's like it's so good. I love it. And then once it gets to the vocals, it's like, bruh, it's insane. But yeah, this is my entire tier list here. D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, and S tier. Yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, that was my tier list. It went out pretty well, I have to admit. I have already listened to all of their albums and stuff prior to this. It was really, really cool. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So, um, if you guys liked it, that's fine. If you guys didn't, let me know in the comments. Let me know your personal opinion. Let me know what your personal opinion is on all these albums and how you would rank the tier list. I would really like to know. I am very much open to opinions. And yeah, that's about it. See you guys later. Peace.